Hey, how we doing, guys? Hack Nation Live, like every Wednesday. I'm your host, Aaron Bennett. Coming to you from the great state of Texas, San Antonio, outskirts of San Antonio, rather. We're still considered part of San Antonio. We are in the Bear borough. I guess they call them counties here. Alaska didn't have counties. Everything was boroughs up there, incorporated or non-incorporated boroughs. Already have several callers, which is crazy. Usually don't have callers before we even start the show, but we do today, so we will get right to them. The number to call in, guys, is 573-422-4225. That's 573-422-4225. If you're joining us from TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, I don't think we're streaming Instagram tonight. My nephew always sets that one up, and he didn't set it up tonight, so I'm not sure how to stream Instagram. But anyway, hopefully this will be one of our last shows from here in our old shop. Our new shop, we ordered internet. They're going to be able to bring fiber in there. We'll have a lot better show once we have fiber. Do we sell the jackets that we're wearing? No, I did make quite a few of these jackets, and they were supposed to go in our kits. None of them made it. Everybody that saw one had to have one, and next thing you know, we're already out of jackets. I think I made 40 or 50 of them to go into kits, and there's like one left down there. I'll have to remake them again. But what do you think about the fast fuel system? If you're waiting on hold, we're going to get to the callers here in 5 seconds, but answer a few questions here. The fast fuel system, you know, I had them on several of my trucks because my brothers were believers in them, and just listening to them talk, oh, you gain half a gear and this and that. And I got a fast fuel system, put it on 2 or 3 of my trucks, not all of them. I don't think they did help at all. I really don't. They were really, really convenient for having an electronic fuel pump if you were prone to running out of fuel quite often. They certainly beat pumping away at the old hand pump. Probably the best thing that the fast system ever did for me is one of my trucks ran out of fuel, and I was able to just take my fuel line off and pump 5 gallons out without having to do any effort, and got him going again, one of my drivers. But as far as performance for the engine, I don't see it. I have the inline tubes that show you how much air is going through your fuel. I didn't see any improvement from the fast systems. And that's their biggest claim to fame. You know, and you're putting them pre-fuel pump, so they're putting pressure up to the pump, which in theory give you better fuel pressure. But in reality, it doesn't, right? Go check your fuel pressure. You know, you got really good fuel pressure, and then you go put a fast system on. Do you see an increase in fuel pressure? Not really. I mean, you're not going to push fuel faster than the pump's going to push fuel anyway. So there are some pros to them, but as a performance item, not so much. Not so much. I got the ones that you could run the heater lines to, and I ran heater lines to them. Preheat the fuel. But even then, you know, by the time they get warm, you know, your coolant gets warm enough to actually make a difference on that preheater. The fuel returning to the tanks is already getting them hot. You know, there's just not enough benefit. They're not cheap items. So no, I don't think that the fast fuel system or any equivalent of it is worth the money. I just don't. And I use the shit out of them. I had one on my own truck for 9 years. I actually bought another one after I burnt one of them up, and just to have it. And the cost benefit's just not there, guys, in my opinion. I mean, someone can prove me wrong, but I'd have to see the data that supports it, and I never saw the data. I mean, my own in-house data never showed that it was worth putting one on. Anyway, let's see if the phone lines are even working. First caller was called in before the show even started. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hey, how's it going, Aaron?
Good. What can we do for you?
Can you hear me, buddy? Hey, so I've called before. I'm sure you don't remember. You have 40,000 people calling all the time. I call. I got a 2001 Freightliner Classic XL. I told you I was having issues with still a lack of power. And long story short, I did check on the gear ratio and change the tire size back to what it was when I bought the truck, and that solved my problem. But I ended up in the process getting it. I haven't finished getting it yet, but the turbo from you guys and the exhaust manifold, which should be finished up this week and hopefully shipped to me and get it put on. Even though there's nothing wrong with my truck power wise now, you're absolutely 100% correct on gear ratio. The gentleman that I bought the truck from changed the gear ratio from a 355 to a 293, and put a 295/60 22.5 steer tire on drives. But whatever, here nor there. So I just wanted to touch base on that and tell you thank you. You hit the nail on the head with that scenario. And then in the meantime, I had an overhead done on my truck just to be on the safe side. The dipshit company that did it, I'm not going to throw them under the bus, didn't do something right and ended up, I'm just going to say this. He ended up not cleaning the surfaces and dumped some debris in my engine. And now I got a little bit of blowby in my engine. Unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I have proof of that. I took pictures of the debris that was underneath the valve covers. And how I know this is I went from Idaho to Indiana, got to Indiana, almost to Indiana, and noticed my valve covers were leaking oil like crazy. I ordered my own valve cover gaskets, put them on myself, but notice all the debris, blah, 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 blah. I can go on and on and on.
Well, I'm not.
Sorry,
hang on. I'm not saying. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's fine. I mean, that's obviously not good, but that shouldn't be a contributing factor to you developing blowby. Not from the valve covers.
Okay, so, and I mean, I could email you guys pictures to get a better thought from you, what you think. But it literally looks like there was sand and dirt underneath my valve cover gaskets.
Mm-hmm.
And
that would contribute to that would contribute to some excessive bearing wear, things like that. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not likely that it would contribute to a premature blow-by situation. But neither here nor there. Okay. I'm not trying to argue with you. I just, what I never want to do is turn this show into I jump on the bandwagon and bash on other shops. So I'm always try to be first defensive, for other shops' sake, even though I don't even know who they are. It's so easy for me to become that guy where it's just this whole show becomes I just throw people under the bus. I don't want to do that, right? So, I want to look at it objectively. Okay, they left the valve cover off. They got all kinds of dirt in there. Is that a problem? Sure. Is that the reason you have blow-by? It's less than likely. It just really is. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, and I'm being honest with you. I didn't force anything with the shop. I just kind of, and God's honest truth, I kind of chalked it up to, I have no idea how many miles. Cool. Is it cool? Here nor there. It was very unprofessional for me, in my eyes, for a shop to do something like that. Charge me the money for the overhead and not clean up, what they should have cleaned up. But here nor there. Let's just throw it under the bus. Let's just throw it under the rug.
We can all get behind you on that one. 100% agree.
Right. So basically, the blow-by is very, very, very minute. I mean, it is not a whole bunch of pressure, just a little tiny bit of smoke coming out of my fill neck. Anyway, here nor there. I just thought I would take your advice. I'll start doing my oil changes more frequently. And then that's the main reason I'm calling you, because I kind of heard something along the lines that you guys are not doing in frames much anymore. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we're trying to pull away from doing outside sales of in frames and out of frames. We're probably still going to entertain doing out of frames for people if they bring the engine to us. And one of the main reasons is we probably believe, and this has been for years, going back to North Dakota. We've been in Texas 2 years, going back to a couple years into North Dakota, so 5 or so years. We have probably 10 people a week call us to try and purchase an engine from us. And out of 50 people that call to purchase an engine, one will. And we sell 70 to 120 engines a year, where we just sell an engine outright. But the main turnoff, the main reason people we only get that big of a turnaround, 1 out of 50, it has everything to do with the fact that we don't have engines ready to go. Now, it's a much easier business model to sell engines, and the market's there for us, right? Yeah, we just have to get ahead of ourselves and have some pre-built. That's a much easier market to be in than deal. I mean, look at I just made a video said we did 339 engines in 2025. 2024, I believe my end video for the year, I said we did 280 engines. That's 600 engines. So we have 600 customers that we're dealing with. It's not like you never talk to them again, right? So you got to put yourself in my shoes. Here I am dealing with 600 customers potentially. So I'm talking to people every day that are no longer customers, so to speak. You know what I mean? They're not like a ongoing. They're not somebody that's coming here for business. And that's part of the job. But it consumes such an enormous amount of my life. If I need to reduce some of that noise. And it seems to me the best way to reduce some of that noise is to remove that portion of it, offer a certain, and people at one time in North Dakota, with the worst we've ever been off, it was 11 months. People would get on our books, and 11 months later, I was invoicing them for their finished engines. I don't like being 11 months behind. Here in Texas, we took a little different approach. Every 90 days, we would shut it down and not let anybody get on our books for however long it took to where we felt we were getting caught up. When we just did that promotion, this last go around, where we were offering $27,999 to do an out of frame overhaul for you, that we just came off of a 60-day not taking a single person on our board, not a single person. We opened up the board to let people come here on that promotion that we did, and we put 42 engines on the board in 4 days. It's so
wow.
It's just hard. It's just hard. It's hard.
That's awesome.
It's hard for me to make the layman that's watching a video like, oh, he's abandoning us or whatever. It's hard for me to convey and get people to understand. It's really tough to deal with that many people. It's in the hundreds and hundreds of people they have to deal with. And if we just change our business model just a little bit, we'll actually be helping people. And we offer like 6 options from just a short block, long block plus, longevity build. So we have all these price range options, but our goal is the wait time is you just bring your truck here, we'll swing it in, not, okay, bring your truck here and I'll see you in 4 or 5 months when we get it done. And I think in the end, we're going to be doing everybody a service rather than our business.
And either get my truck down to you or however, this had to work, regardless of whether it starts getting worse or whatever. This just happens to be, I know a lot of guys that work for you, not a Freightliner guys, but it's the first truck I've ever drove in my life. Not the first, but I'm saying a Freightliner way back in the day. And I just wanted this truck. I got it finally, and I just want to make it 100%, regardless of whether it takes me a year, 2 years, or whatever.
Sure. We don't care what kind
But
of truck a guy
I,
drives, man. They all make the same amount of money.
right. No, some of the funny stuff that you guys post about. Oh, if it's not a Peterbilt, Anyway, here or there. It's the 6NZ, 550 horsepower. Even with these smaller tires on here and the gear ratio kind of matched up, it still doesn't feel like 550 horsepower to me. I just want the motor freshened up. So how would I go about doing that with you guys? Do I just have somebody ship you the motor?
Well,
Is that the best thing, or do I buy a motor and then?
There's a couple of ways. First of all, because we work with so many shops around the country, we have several shops that we're working with that, and when I say working with, I'm talking like working very closely with, where we're helping them with all their warranties. We're helping them. We're supplying all their parts. We're sending them all their, not all, but sending them a lot of their customers. They're technically our customers. We're sending them to them. And we're building these relationships with other shops where these people are, and we're only dealing with shops that are on board with our mentality of, being honest, and we're helping with that by supporting their warranties and stuff like that, right? So that's what we've been doing. I mean, you got to think we haven't taken any incoming engines in almost 60 days again, and we get two or three phone calls.
Wow.
We get 2 or 3 phone calls a day for people trying to get on our books. We have absolutely swamped these 4 or 5 shops around the country that we're working with, to the point that they're having to hire people and this and that. But that's where we see it going. Where you were in New York and you give me a call and you're like, "Hey, we want to bring you the engine." I'm like, well, actually, there's somebody right down the road from you. That's a great mechanic that isn't going to rip you off. Is going to stand behind their work. And they're going to use all the same thing as if he came here. We're going to get coded parts from us and this and that. It's working out great so far, right? And we see it. We see that the route that we're going to go, and then people that just have to have an engine from us, it's totally. We have that option for you. Like for you, if you think about this, if you brought me your engine and you had to wait 3 or 4 months, that kills you as an owner operator. But if I have an option for you where you just
Right.
show up and we swing yours out and swing something fresh in there, and you're only here for 4 days,
Okay.
even if you pay,
Yeah, that's better. Way better.
right?
Yeah.
Even if you pay $15,000 more for a much newer engine, more stuff's been done to it. You come out so far ahead, it's ridiculous. And I think in the end,
Oh, absolutely.
I think in the end, we're going to be helping people, not hurting people. The one group of people that will get, I don't want to say hurt, but will get not as benefited by it, is your very small group of guys that are assed out broke, that can only afford the most thing on planet Earth, and I've helped. That's kind of what I'm saying, is we have a bunch of shops around us, around the country, that will still help those guys, and we'll just help link them up. We're doing that currently. There's
But Aaron, I'm not gonna.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not gonna try and take up a bunch of other people's time, and I'm not gonna blow smoke up nobody's butt. I've been in this business legally since 2001, when the CDL first started coming into effect. I have not been treated right. I started my own business, my own trucking company, in 2017. I have not been treated right by any shop out there, though. I'm not exaggerating that. I've been screwed over more times than you can count. I'm sure that's an open door. You hear that all the time, probably. But just by watching you guys and watch what you do and the things that you guys back up and so on and so forth, I would just as soon sell everything and throw my hands in the air and give it all up, just as soon not do business with you guys, based off of your record. And that's kind of where I'm at this point. If that's an option to purchase a motor from you, drive the truck down there and stay a few days, fine. That's what I'll have to do. That's what I'll have to do. It's you guys have literally, I think, in my opinion, shocked the trucking industry on how good you guys are and what kind of quality you guys give the trucking industry. That's just my opinion. I'm not everybody, so I'm not going to say it for everybody, but it's incredible. And I wish every shop, mom and pop shop in the nation would treat the truck drivers like you guys do.
Somebody just.
So anyway, let me not waste.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. We got a lot of callers too, so we got to be conscious of that.
I know you said that, and I don't want to waste or ruin everybody else's time. But hey, also, I haven't climbed underneath my truck and looked yet. I know the truck's got an 18 speed. I don't know if it's got. Is it the filter on that 18 speed that makes it that quality 18 speed? That's one of the other questions I had. I know I have an 18 speed. I just don't know if I have the one that's the top of the line, so to speak. 18 speed.
No, a filter doesn't. A filter doesn't decide that for sure. It's whether, like, if you're talking like the most heavy duty one, pretty much that you can get your hands on. We have a bunch of those coming in. By the way, we special ordered them. They have.
This one's actually fairly new to the truck.
Yeah, they have hardened gears. That's what sets them apart. But
is there like a number on the transmission I could call you guys with to verify what transmission I have?
Yep, you can call the Bennett Truck Center line. They'll tell you, no problem. Tell you exactly what you have. Take a picture of the tag and.
Okay, I've been dealing with Dylan. Yeah, so I'll reach out to Dylan and give him the number and go from there.
Yeah, if you have any problems there, just ask for Jacob or Matt. My son's Dylan's great.
Okay.
But he's learning. He's learning from Jacob and Matt, who grew up doing it their entire lives, you know. So if you have any issues, just ask for one of them. So, all right, brother.
Okay, I will for sure, and hey, I'll let you get to the next call. I appreciate you more than you know, brother.
Yep. Have a good night, man. Thank you.
You too.
You know, somebody said in the comments. I want to scroll back real quick. So, a gentleman said, I'm sorry, but there's a ton of us that legit stand behind our work. Now, that's probably true. There's probably, there's thousands and thousands of shops in the United States. You guys have to realize how many there actually is. Just in our area, Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, it is mind-boggling how many shops are here. Mind-boggling. And for there to not be a single shop that stands behind their work is just ludicrous to say. I would never say that. But by and large, your average truck driver going to any shop around the country is going to get fucking burned to the ground. It's just statistically the facts. It just is. Most shops, and now that we've been selling parts on a massive scale, we've always sold parts, but never at the scale we are now, where we have 8 people answering the phone and selling parts around the clock. I am the warranty department. I handle all the warranties. And I didn't realize, I've always known it's bad, but now I see how bad it really is. I'll just give you guys one example today. Owner operator calls me. Hey, I bought a kit from you, this and that. And my mechanic's telling me, the kit was messed up. I'm like, okay, not a problem. I'll take care of you. Send me a picture. So he sends me a picture. The liners are all installed in the engine. All the pistons but 2 are installed in the engine. And the picture they send me is a gouge out of the liner. It's obvious right away that they gouged the liner with the end of the rod when they're putting the piston in. But when the mechanic gouged the liner, he comes up with some story to tell the owner, oh, we got to get you need to see if we can get some warranty on this kit. It's so obvious what happened. But come on, dude, buy your customer 2 liners. You gouge 2 of them when you're going in with the rods. Oh, that was a warranty I was just dealing with a few minutes ago, but it's like that nonstop. It's just silly. Yeah, in Utah, we're working with Stevens Truck Power in Utah. We have drowned that guy, and people we've sent there. Great guy, right there in Utah to answer that question. Let's get back to the phone calls. Sorry, everybody waiting online there. A lot of people waiting. And I've just been rambling on. Michael, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yeah, how you doing? I got a 2004 379 Peterbilt with an OBX in it, twin turbo.
Okay.
Hello? Yep.
Yes, sir.
Now I see with your coated kits are you going to do anything to build a better wiring harness for underneath the valve covers?
No,
Because mine are not last
I'm not
at least 2 years.
Yeah, and Cat recommends changing them every so many 100,000 miles. I can't remember how many it is, but it's not much. And guys will run them out for a million miles and wonder why. Oh, my VVAs are messing up, and usually it's just the harness. I'm
getting maybe 13,000 miles, and then I'm breaking it.
Well, so we do wiring harnesses here nonstop, right? And there was a time, it's probably been 7 or 8 years ago when they first started outsourcing them to Mexico. They're making all those wiring harnesses in Mexico when they were really problematic. You couldn't even get ones that worked. But those problems are kind of all in the past. And we use wiring. I mean, we're using Cat wiring harnesses around the clock. And we see less than a 2 or 3% failure rate on a new wiring harness out of the box, right? If you're having consistent problems with yours, I would guess there's an underlying problem. It most likely has something to do with the placement of the wiring harness because, the valves are probably touching them. They're probably rubbing. There's something going on there that isn't due to the quality of the harness, most likely. Obviously I'm guessing from here, but guessing based on 600 wiring harnesses, over the last 4 years and not having any issue. Almost exclusively when we have an issue, a guy comes back, hey, my wiring harness is messing up. And it says here on my invoice, you guys did new wiring harnesses. We lift up the valve cover. It's almost always something to do with placement, right? We didn't zip tie it good enough. The little tabs that hold it together weren't bent back over and smashed down. You damn near got to beat them down with a hammer to get them out of the way of everything. And it's usually a routing problem. So, but before you throw the harnesses under the bus, I would look really hard at your routing problem and just look at that thing really hard. Make sure that nothing's going to touch, right?
And another question: with the twin turbos, oil gets dirty faster?
No.
It seems like.
No.
Here's the issue I was having. The blow-by, oil spitting out of the tube every so often. They said the rings were dechroming. And that's all Caterpillar parts. And then, I'll be getting some oil splatter on my battery boxes. And I pull the stick, and I got nothing missing. Is that just basically a steam?
No.
From the oil getting on a hot pull?
No, that's what you're describing is
300,000, and the time before that had 42,000.
So, if you're getting oil splatter down your truck, and you're seeing dipstick tube problems and stuff like that, that is a combustion gas going to the crankcase problem, right? And
right,
you either have a broken ring, or you have a scarred up liner, or you have glazed liners, or you have washed liners. One of those four. Usually you can tell if you have broken rings because it'll have excessive blow by, it'll kind of want to smoke you out when you're just sitting there to idle if the truck's hot. Make like
No, I have none of that at all.
right. So
None of that at all.
it's probably glazed out liner. That can happen from it being wet stacked too much. It can also happen from not being broken properly. It can also happen from having carbon packed and it ate it up. Cummins had to come out with an anti-polishing ring because theirs were polishing out the liners consistently from carbon.
This is the longest that it lasts. It's not doing it all the time. Like if I'm heading out to California and it's say 100 degrees out and I'm pulling the mountains, I'll get some splatter on it. I'm not talking drench splatter. I'm pulling the oil, the dipstick, and I don't have to add any oil, which is kind of odd if you splatting some oil on your box.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of oil goes a long ways, right? As far as making a mess. So
yeah, it does, especially in the heat.
So the thing to do really is to start pulling some oil samples and just see, because that's going to kind of give you some clues if you're putting a lot of combustion gas down the crankcase. You'll start seeing elevated levels of.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, the twin.
I wouldn't worry about it yet. I would take some oil samples.
I know. I mean, it runs great. It's still set up as a 550. It hasn't been touched. I mean, of course, we get a lot of boost, and your fuel pressure, of course, is high. But otherwise, I mean, the engine. I mean, I haul heavy, consider heavy. Enclosed car hauler. My empty weight is 57,000 with a 120-inch sleeper on it. But when we're loaded, yeah, we can be up to 80 to 83. And, pulling those hills, it does get warm a little.
Yeah, but that's not an inherent problem of the twin turbo, to answer your question. But anyway, brother. All right.
But hey, thank you. Thank you for answering my guy and help me out.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
You too. Bye now.
Okay, we're gonna have to stick with the callers, guys, because there are so many. I don't know what happened, but we got 14 of them stacked up. Just keep right after them here. Otherwise, they'll get ahead of us, and we'll never get to all of them. So, Chuck Johnson, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
This is Chuck. I live up there in Ohio. I'm having a turbo issue on my IXX 870. And what it's doing is, I'll be down through the hills of West Virginia, maxed out. It'll run great. Couldn't ask for a better pulling truck. And all at once, it'll throw a code of 155, which is overheat, going back into the motor. But when I start down over the hills, yeah, it'll growl at you. And then it'll turn on the idiot light. You pull over, you shut the idiot light off, fire back up, go about your business. And everybody says, well, you got an air-to-air problem. And I put a new air-to-air in, put a new actuator valve in on the left side bottom part of the motor. And I'm still having it. But I go out west, run it out there, I'm not having that issue, just in the mountains.
What kind of engine was it?
It's a IXX 870 Cummins. It's 2005.
And it's saying it's overheating. Is that coolant or is that air?
That's air going back in through the air-to-air. And the primometer, when I'm running it, it'll be down to 500 degrees. I start pulling, it'll pull 7. But once that idiot light comes on, it changes from 700, it'll go up to 950 or more.
And
but once I get it up, shut it down, and let it sit there 30 seconds. I can fire it up. No more issues until I start pulling again.
And what's your
and I pull 40 pounds.
What's your coolant doing?
110 or 210. I'm sorry. Fan kicks in, does the job. I have put everything into this. New cooler, new radiator, with new air to air, the valve, EGR valve, EGR, a reman, or not a reman, cooler, aftermarket on this. Looks, instead of having the fins in it, like a radiator, it's almost about the size of a number 2 pencil holes, like a half a dozen of them or more.
Mm-hmm. And you put a new air to air, right?
Yeah, new air to air. Everything's replaced on it. Oil temperature, it gets up to 250. I get my foot out of it. Yeah. Because I put a new oil cooler in it. I don't like their updates. I'm not ready to change that. So
if you want,
one of those kits.
So here's my honest opinion. Okay. Of course, it's just opinion, but if you've changed all that and you're still getting that code and you're still having to pull it over, it sounds like to me it's the driver, that we are not dropping a gear when we're supposed to, keeping the RPMs really high. Those ISXs, just, I don't know how long you've been driving one, but they demand high RPMs. It ain't no CAD. You can't take her down there to the 1200, 1100 RPMs and hang there for a while.
No. I mean, I keep her wound up. I own this truck from 2005. I bought it brand new. And I don't baby it. I abuse it. There ain't no doubt. I run it hard.
And then my next question would be, is this thing deleted?
No, sir. I had the ECM going through. I had to put a new one on that, and it still does the same thing. Right. So they put the old one back on.
And does the ECM have a tune on it, or?
It does. It's only 10%.
Right. But that
with the 565, it's like 605 right in there.
So it was a factory 565?
Yeah, it's factory 565.
And somebody put a 605 tune on it?
Yes, they did. Up there in Pittsburgh. So you could probably finish it out from there.
All right, and it didn't. I mean, so what's the correlation? I didn't have a problem, and now I have this tune, and I have this problem?
Well, that's the part I can't figure out, because this thing's going through. I carry spur turbo in the truck, but I have already gone through 3 turbos, and I was going through them before Pittsburgh did their thing to it, because all I wanted was check. Hey, just bring me up 10%. I'd be tickled to death. Yeah, it's great to get a piece of fuel. Couldn't ask for a better running high.
Well, so if you've already taken care of all the other problems and this thing isn't deleted, you're going through turbos, which is a sign they're getting insanely hot, right?
Right.
And you don't want to call it the tune, because apparently it was happening before. It has to be in the after treatment system. You're not flowing the air properly, and it's backing everything up and making it hotter than shit once you're asking everything of it.
Right. Okay. It's actually, you can hear it coming through the turbo.
Okay.
Yeah,
my gut
mainly when you're
my gut reaction is it's the tune, right? But if you were losing turbos before the tune, if we're just looking at it objectively, you're losing turbos before the tune. Your 565, if that's true, 605 is not a problem for this thing, right? It sound, and if that turbo's making noise at you, right? That growl that it makes usually
Right.
usually means the VGT is not actuating back and forth.
Okay. Because we have replaced every sensor on this.
Mhm.
It's the EGR valve, EGR cooler, the back system on the left side. That's everything's been updated.
If you're losing turbos consistently,
Yeah.
and the engine's growling at you, in other words, the turbo's screaming at you, and you have to keep pulling it over for air-to-air problems and or for intake air temp problems. Either your exhaust system is backed up and is not able to flow properly when it's getting the most demand out of it, or that tune's fucked. It's one of the two.
Okay. Yeah, because the exhaust is it's open. There's not a muffler on this truck.
Okay, then the tune's fucked. Has to be.
Okay. Yeah, because it's just, but I can run out west with it and I don't have an issue. It's just when I'm pulling 40 pounds of boost, it's sitting there at 13.5, 1400, and it just strolls right along.
Fueling too hard.
And that goes up.
Fueling too hard, brother.
What's that?
Fueling too hard.
Ah. Getting too much fuel.
Yep. Feeling too hard. Getting hotter than fuck all.
Okay. That because of the injector or the fuel pump? Because it's got electric fuel pump on it.
No, it's the tune.
That's in the tune.
Yeah, that's the tune.
Okay.
They turn the numbers up way too hot. The fact
Okay. Can you change that if I come back for?
The fact that they haven't, the fact that you haven't had cylinder head problems is mind blowing. If you have to keep pulling over,
Well,
go ahead.
Oh, I got a thermometer, and I keep an eye on that. I was having issues because it was dropping the boost. Yeah, then that's when I would notice the temperature starting to climb on the turbo.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to keep it down below the 9 mark because I watch it pretty much steady when I'm pulling. But it dropped boost, so I put a new valve on it for the actuator that's on the bottom left side of the motor. Yeah, because that was one of the.
And it's not deleted, you said?
No, it's not deleted.
Okay.
EGR valve's there. It worked.
Then the answer.
You could stand there, you'd be sitting there idling.
Then the answer to your question, yeah, if you stopped in, we'd fix it for you. And our idea of fixing it is seeing what's on it. And if it's fine,
right,
we try and figure out what the actual problem is. We're not guys that slap tunes on shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know it. It's right. And the trouble is, this place up there in Pittsburgh is great. I mean, there's a lot of drivers that want to him over the years.
Yeah, but people's idea of great is people's idea of great is usually means I can beat everyone to the top. That's
right. Well, I just like to get out there and start cruising when I'm pulling. You know, I keep an eye on the tach. I keep an eye on the boost. I watch my boost. Now, if I keep the boost down below 30, I will not come on.
Right.
When I'm pulling.
And that's because you're holding your foot out of it, and it still screams fueling problem. All right, brother?
Well, it won't scream when I got 32 pounds of boost. It's just when it's up there at that 40.
Right.
Now, can I get that boost turned back?
No, it's
in the ECM.
The boost isn't the problem.
Okay. Okay. Right. And, well, I run a lot of San Antonio because I haul a lot of conveyor belts.
Come on by.
I could do that. I just wanted an idea because it's like, man, there's got to be something else going on that I don't know about.
Yeah, and there's guys here that are Cummins gurus, you know.
Right.
5 minutes, they'll probably be able to tell you what's going on.
Okay. I appreciate that. When I get down that way, I'll give them a call.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.
$5 says he shows up and the Canadians say, well, this tune's fucked up. Just saying. It's the main thing I like about the Canadians is they'll look at it and they're like, there's nothing wrong with this tune. I'm like, okay, we'll leave it. They never made me pay them for, they don't make me pay them for a lot of things. They must make a lot of money. I know they make a lot of money. They have like 10 people that work there, and each one has like 5 computers, and I have to wait my turn. It's crazy how much they do. Anyway, so many callers, and they keep stacking up. Holy guacamole. Back to the callers. Gilbert, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Hello, Aaron. How are you?
Good, man. You got a DD15?
Yeah, I got a quick question for you. I'll try not to take up too much of your time there. I've been trying for 2 weeks to get through, so I finally did. And pleasure to speak with you. Watch your videos. Quite impressed with your work there. Wish you were closer. I got a DD15 in a Freightliner, and the engine has been rebuilt, and then some sicknesses happened to me, and it's been parked for now about 5 years. Engine is completely done. Probably got about a half-hour run time on it. Done at a Detroit diesel dealer, so I can only assume it's been done right. And I'm about to go and get this truck and basically bring it home. I'm calling from Eastern Canada, and it's been just basically sitting dormant for all this time. Is there any precautions or anything I should do before I start this thing up or start using it or anything like that? What would be your opinion on that?
How long has it been sitting?
Oh, about 4 or 5 years.
Whoa.
And it's all bright. It's all new. This, everything has been replaced in it.
Now,
so I'm thinking a bit before they rebuilt it because it scuffed 2 liners, and I'm just worried that if I start it up, should I is there any way to lubricate the cylinders, or I don't know much about it. But what would you do in that case?
That part will probably be fine. Here's what would worry me the most. And this is what we've seen from engines that sit around. You guys have to remember, I buy a lot of engines. And there'll be engines, that have been sitting around 5 or 6 years, 2 or 3 years. We're getting engines that sit around all the time, but they're still completely enclosed, just like if they were in a truck. We've bought in a lot of engines that, we go buy, because I'll go to a junkyard and I'll buy 30 engines at a time. And maybe 10 of them are still in trucks, and they pull them out of the trucks for us, right? The number one thing that we see in engines that just sit is the crank will delaminate. And it's because moisture creeps in there and gets trapped, and it just eats holes in it. And that's the number one thing. When we buy engine cores and we're running around buying up from I bought 50 at one time from a place down in the valley here, down by the border. And I planned in advance on throwing every crank in the dumpster, and it was 100%. 100%. Every crank was bad, right? And so the 2 spots where you're going to see damage is on the crank from its being static and the valve train. The valve train could be all rusted out sitting around that long, especially if it was going through extreme cycles. Probably was experiencing that. Before I did anything, if it's sat around that long, I'd probably pull the valve cover and see if there's any signs of rust anywhere at all. There's not. Great. Yeah. If you really want to be sure, drop the oil pan and just drop 1 or 2 mains and just take a look. It's much better.
Well, actually, the long and short of it is this engine, when the dealer did the engine, they did everything new rod bearings and overhauled head and 6 new cylinder kits and all that kind of stuff. And the thing's got about 600,000 miles on it total. That's it. And they pulled a couple of the main caps to look at the bearings and said they looked okay, and they put them back in. I said, "Look, this guy, when you just call up, what that means," and that's why I said there, I'm going to get the mains replaced in it before I start using it. I mean, I don't know why they just didn't do them anyway, for the sake of what they cost. And if they took a couple of them down and looked at them, said they looked okay, well, why put the old ones back when you got it partly apart? So, like I said, I haven't got a big lot of money into this truck, but I'd like to get it back home and keep it as a spare, even, or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably no problem at all. Probably start it and drive it home. But you're asking me what we've seen, and that's what we've seen. Cranks that sit around, don't get used.
Okay.
They'll delaminate. In fact, we had a guy bring us the truck just a little bit ago. It was in great shape, but he let it start for 2 years before he got the money, and the crank was completely ruined. And it obviously was rejected. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So, but they'd be able to tell that if before I take it, if I say, look, I'm going to get them to drop the base and do the mains anyway.
Yep, they'll know right away.
Before I use it.
Yep.
Yeah, because for the sake of what it costs, I mean, it's
Yep. No, that would, if you're willing to have them do that, I wouldn't worry about it at all. Have them do that, and you're good to go. And it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, well, the rod bearings are new. The only things that are not new are the main bearings, and like I say, I'm going to get them to do that anyway, period, before I even start it up. So, and make sure that's okay. And I will get them to pull the valve covers and have a look at that, because it's a decent truck with practically a new engine in it, or it is a new engine. And like I said, I'd like to have it as a spare truck. Just keep it around, because to sell it, you're not going to get anything for it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So it's better
Well,
to keep it around.
And brother.
Yeah, I got another question for you. It might be a pipe dream, I don't know, but I've got a '97 Freightliner also. It's the first truck I ever bought. It's again another thing that's not worth a lot of money. It's a classic, and it's parked, and like I said, nobody will hire it because it's too old. But I want to keep it, and one of these days I may do something with it. I really don't know, but I'm keeping it for basically sentimental values. The first truck that I ever bought new, I watched it get built in the Freightliner factory, and then I started it up and drove it off the assembly line and drove it home. So I'm sort of would like to keep it. It's got a 5EK in it. Is that a decent starting platform to rebuild?
Yeah, 5EKs are great.
Yeah, it's got about a million miles on it, and it's never been touched other than, I had rods and mains done out of that, about 600,000. But other than that, it's never been touched. And again, it's something that I just, like I said, I wish you were closer. I'd pull the engine out and send it to you.
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, I don't have the misgivings about the 5EK that people try, and the negative connotations that people put on the 5EK. I don't think it deserves any of them.
Okay.
It's a great platform. There's nothing wrong with it.
Great. Thank you, sir. Listen, I appreciate your time and enjoy your videos. Very, very informative. Like I said, I just wish you were closer.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, man, and good luck.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. All righty then. Yeah, I knew there was something I want to answer. There's somebody just said, would you use Prolube? I did a bunch of tests on the Prolube with our Timken bearing tester thingamajigger. I'm not a fan of Prolube, and I'll tell you guys a little story. We overhauled a truck recently, Guy wasn't having any problems. He's been sending me oil samples religiously, and the oil samples always look great. And the truck's in our shop right now. And I've been rolling around with myself. Should I make a video about this or should I not make a video about this? I still haven't made up my mind whether I'm going to, but only thing he did was he started adding Prolube to his oil. The next oil change, he had extreme copper. He sent me the sample and he's like, "Oh man, look at this." I was like, "Holy shit." Like, dude, park it. He's like, "Oh, I'm just going to get it there." I'm like, "Okay, get it here." So he got it here. We take it apart and all of the main bearings were down to the copper. All of them. Cranks still look great, which is crazy, but all the main bearings just ate alive. And it wasn't like shit got in and ate up like you normally see. It's like war, like it had 2 million miles on it type of war. And I was like, I'm sitting there, how did this happen? I don't understand how it happened. I was like, what? I mean, did you overheat? Did anything happen at all? He's like, no, the only thing I did was after the last oil sample I sent you that showed everything was perfect. He said, I decided to add Prolube to it. Like, really? And so within 10,000 miles of him adding Prolube and going to his next oil sample, the bearings went from nothing wrong to completely ate alive. Was the Prolube the cause? I don't know. But there was nothing wrong. I have all these oil samples to show there's nothing wrong. And all of a sudden, bam, massive problem. Massive problem. I think that Prolube mixed to the quantities you're supposed to mix it to diluted the living shit out of the oil and made it not do its job. That's what I think it did. Anyhow, neither here nor there. Let's go back to the callers. Junior, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. I got the rod and main bearings done on my 6NZ, and now I'm experiencing a little bit higher oil pressure. Is that normal for a Cat 6NZ?
After doing rods and mains? Yeah, it's normal.
Yes, sir.
What?
Okay, so it was.
What did you have before, and what do you have now?
I just went with the factory spec Cat main bearings and rod bearings.
No. I mean,
And
what oil pressure did you have before, and what oil pressure do you have now?
Oh, before it was when I was at 70 miles per hour, it was at 70. So that's right about 15 RPM. Now it's like about 80, a little bit past 80. But then again, it's cold, so the truck hasn't been able to get up temperature very much. But whenever it gets up to temperature, it does drop slightly. So is that normal?
Yeah, you're probably fine.
Okay, yeah, because there's no codes, there's no nothing. I was just, kind of, because I wasn't used for my old PSI to being over 80, and now it's like right at 80. So I was just making sure.
No, you're fine.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, it was just a great evening, sir.
All right, you too, brother. Hey, we got one. We got one that was quick. Sweet. All right, everybody's hanging on. I'm trying to get to y'all. Nobody wants to give their name. Not you, Winston, I think, maybe. Another question on some misinformation.
Hear me?
Yeah, there you are. What can we do for you?
Sorry. Yeah, my headset on wasn't close enough. Yeah, misinformation is correct. So again, with the 12.7 DDEC 4, I was talking to some people tonight, or I should say last night. Like, oh yeah, you can't turn it up, and this and that, whatever. Set it 450, 475 right now on a D-Deck 4. He's like,
Mhm.
I wouldn't do anything with it unless you go to Pittsburgh Power.
Okay.
I guess my question to you would be, like, I've heard of Pittsburgh Power. What is their, like, their reputation on it, so on and so forth? Just your opinion.
Pittsburgh Power has been doing stuff like that for a long, long time. I kind of feel the same way about Pittsburgh Power as I do about PDI. They push stuff too hard and it costs the end user money. Um, it's not like your Flying J bandits that destroy your truck in 20, 30,000 miles, but their stuff is, 100,000 miles and you're starting to pay for all of the fun you're having.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to have a shit ton of fun or whatever. I just want to be able to. I'm from Wisconsin.
I mean,
I've never been up
two
the hill that you have.
2 callers ago, the guy had a
But-
Pittsburgh Power tune, and he's having all kinds of problems, right?
True, very true.
That you gotta remember, those guys don't give a fuck. They don't care. They don't care if you ruin your truck. Like the guys at PDI, they don't care. They don't care. They don't. It's not like they're gonna stand behind it. They're not gonna be like, oh yeah, They're like, well, tough luck. Buy some more shit from us. you know. Um.
Oh yeah, no, I hear that. I honestly, Aaron, like I get so much shit when I go to somebody else's place and work on their car or whatever. I charge $50 to work on their car. I'm coming to you with my shit. I work on your semi or your pickup.
Mhm.
I mean, it's about 65, 70, 75 for a semi. But I'm coming to you. I'm not trying to rape nobody. I'm trying to, everybody's got to make a living. End of story. Like, I'm making a little bit of money on the back end, but I like helping people. Like, that's why I called you about this. Like, hey, it's Spirit Power. Yes, I've been around it. I have heard of it, but I don't know the ins and outs of it. And this is a boss's truck right now. That's why I was calling about, hey, what is your opinion on that? You already told me that.
I'll be honest. I don't know much about Pittsburgh Power's tunes today. I don't know much about them. I just know that every time I run into a Pittsburgh Power tune, it correlates to somebody that's having a bunch of problems, right? So that there's your sign. Pittsburgh Power used to make this black box that they no longer make because the EPA really gave them a hard time. And that box was kind of like a miracle box for power because it operated. It was a very simple thing, and all it did was control the fuel, and it would make your engine fuel like all get out. But it was integrated into the pyrometer, and it would cut the fuel as the intake air temperature went up. And so they had a fail-safe design where they would protect the module itself would protect the engine. And it worked pretty good. I mean, would your engine wear out a hell of a lot faster than if you weren't running a Pittsburgh Power box? Abso-fucking-lutely. But did they have a reputation for grenading engines because you had a black box? No. That was a brilliant design, but that doesn't exist anymore. So Pittsburgh Power now is kind of like PDI, where they actually go in and tune the engine itself. And I have yet to meet the guy that has one of their tunes that's not in a shop for some reason, usually directly related to that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's what I haven't around it. I can lie about it, but I wholeheartedly appreciate your opinion. Like you said, you got a lot of callers on, man.
Yep.
Might probably go down a different alley. So you take care, man.
Yes, sir. Good luck. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Just call Detwiller. Okay. Always somebody in the comments. You guys need to leave that poor guy alone. Get a Canadian tuned tabernacle. Oh. All right, my name is Cole. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? And this is a callers-centric show tonight.
Hey, man. I got a C15 Acert MXS in the truck here, and it's got about 350-ish thousand miles on it overall. They'd change the tack out somewhere in there, but that's as far as I can figure out. That's about what it's got. The reason I'm calling, I guess, is I'm just curious, what can we do to kind of stretch out the life on this engine? I guess they're pretty spendy to go through, and it's just a farm truck. What do you guys kind of recommend, I guess, for it to stretch out that engine?
I mean, if you're just talking about purely longevity, there's a short list of things you can do that dramatically extend the life of your engine. Number one, and I do mean number one, is an oil bypass system. Just over the last 15, 16 years, I can say unequivocally, with no shame, and believe it with all my heart, because I've seen it over and over again, that nothing on the market preserves the life of the internal components of the engine more than an oil bypass system. And you can look, I've been saying that for a long time. And it's because I know for a fucking fact it's true. And all of my trucks had at minimum spinners on them, oil bypass. And if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have went strictly oil bypass. The spinners are great, but they're not as good as a oil bypass at all. We're coming out with our own oil bypass system here. I can't wait. We're coming out with 3 things I'm super excited about in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, something like that. We're coming out with our own oil bypass system. We partner with an awesome company. We're coming out with our own petroleum, which is going to be a tier 4 full synthetic. And the last thing is we're coming out with an engine break-in oil, which is something sorely lacking in this industry. But I could care less if I'm coming out with an oil bypass system or not. I'm still going to tell you that's the number one thing. Number 2, run full synthetic. Run full synthetic.
I've been running a full synthetic 5W40, and it's as I got it.
There you go.
And I think I'm actually out of North Dakota, so I've been following you for a while. But
sure,
it was redone in Jamestown, and it was a fleet truck at Butler. There, they redid it. And to my knowledge, it was getting oil changes regularly. I got the whole book of records on it and stuff. But yeah, I was just curious if there's anything. I hear all the nonsense of putting single turbos on, and I don't really.
None of that's
going to make it a lot.
None of that's going to make the engine last longer. You asked a very specific question. What can make the engine last longer?
Yeah.
Things you can do, things you can physically do yourself. Keep the engine warm, especially Dakota in the front. Be conscious of first startup. Get it hot as soon as possible. Put it under load. Park out of the wind. No excessive idle time. Use your winter front appropriately. Get a 4-way quilted winter front. You can zip up and unzip it as needed for however the conditions you're changing around you. Get an oil bypass system. Run good synthetic. And the damn thing will last you 1,000,000+ miles.
Okay. Yeah, and And it doesn't get a ton of miles on the farm.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll get an oil bypass on. I know you guys got a lot of callers coming in, so I can let you get back to it. So,
all right, brother. Good luck with that one.
well, thanks. Appreciate it. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Man, went right through the first hour without, I mean, that was fast. We still have so many callers stacked up. We got to keep banging away at them here, guys. You guys always get so lively, and there's so many good questions in the comment section whenever we're drowning in callers. And then the nights when there's hardly any callers, nobody wants. Oh, it just figures, doesn't it? All right, no name. Our injectors on a Caterpillar is what I see here.
It's JR. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. What can we do for you?
I've got a question for you. I've got a 5EK, and when I started up cold, it sounds like it's missing on one cylinder, and it's you can smell the diesel fuel in the exhaust, but I'm getting a lot of blue smoke, and I believe it's an injector. And when the dealership runs they run a little delete test, they say they can't find it. My question is to you, is there another way to find a injector, a bad injector, other than the electronic delete?
Oh, never mind. It wasn't this thing. It was that thing. Sorry. Long story short, man.
Oh, that's all right.
If the whatever shop you're taking it to isn't running the CAT ET actual injector cutout test where they do hands off and it goes through its whole process and then it decides if there's a bad injector. If you're going somewhere and they're just over there manually doing it and saying, "Oh, I can't find it," then they're just wasting your time, right? If it's running through the cycle where it's like sounds like it's like the engine's going to blow up because it's going through the cycle that it's puts it through. You know, it'll cut out a couple 4 cylinders at a time, and it'll cut out 4 other ones, and then 4 other ones, and the engine literally sounds like it's coming apart, and it'll usually blow smoke all over the place. If they're not doing that test on it, then they're wasting your fucking time. Is that the test they're doing on it?
Okay,
or are they
well,
just,
thank you.
Are they just cutting them out one at a time and saying they can't find it?
I think they're doing it one at a time. I haven't been in. I wasn't available to be around when they were testing it, but they told me they did the cylinder cutout test and they couldn't find it.
Okay. Now it's possible you just have a weak injector that's only, shows its face when it's cold, and when it warms up, does it seem like it goes away?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then if you
like you say,
does it ever seem to come back? Let's say you're in a hard pull or you're lugging it or something like that. Does it ever sputter? Do you ever get any smoke ever?
Not really. No.
Then
now, if you go ahead.
You probably don't have a bad injector. You have a weak injector that just shits the bed when it's cold. And that's why they can't find it.
Okay.
So, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm not good enough to look at all the pulses and the widths on all those and say, yep, there's your weak one. But, we run into, I'm sure you can imagine, we run into problems like this where, we know there's an injector that's giving us problems and the cutout test just keeps showing us they're all good. Whenever that's happened, it's okay. Get the Canadians on the phone, and they'll look and they're like, oh, it's number 3. I'm like, how the hell did they know that? And sure enough, it'll be number 3. So, and are you going to find that just driving into a cat, your random cat place? Probably not, right? Well, obviously not.
Okay.
So, it's possible you have a weak injector. but it's also possible that you really don't even have a problem, you know. But most of the time, you know, you can have a completely bad injector, and once it's warmed up, it'll seem like the problem goes away because the engine's running so efficiently on the other 5. You know, but you usually show
Right,
if you do have one in bad injector, you know, and it seems like it goes away, to usually show its face randomly, you know, when you're taking off from a stop or you're lugging or something. You know, sometimes you're gonna be like, yeah, sometimes it seems like it's cutting out on me. And that's like a sure sign, yeah, there is one bad injector. But
But like I say, I can, like I was in I was in Ohio here a couple of weeks ago, and it was cold, and I quit working and rolling out blue smoke, and I'm like, well, I believe we have an injector issue here, but you know,
yeah,
it is what it is.
it was probably actually in that particular case, it was probably wet stacking on you. And that's not
Really?
that's most likely if you just let it sit and idle for
Okay.
an extended period of time and it was colder than shit out, you bet.
Okay. Because like I say, I've got a generator on the truck. I don't idle it unless I'm backing into a dock or something like that. And then I'll shut it off. But I try not to idle it. But I never even thought about the wet stacking.
Yeah, you might not even have a
All
problem,
right. Well,
brother. But anyway.
okay.
All right.
Well, thank you for taking my call. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
Take care.
You know, I owned a lot of cats, like a lot of I owned a lot of trucks, and all of them had cats for the most part. A couple N14s, but neither here nor there. And a couple of my trucks, when you'd start them up in the morning, those fuckers would just smoke you out. I'd change injectors, they'd still do it. You know, and they're always old ones. They're always, you know, your 5EKs, 6TS. I don't know. Those, I finally just gave up on them because they didn't have a problem. Once they warmed up, they'd go to work, do their job. But every morning they'd like smoke the yard out. Sometimes it just is what it is. I did a million injector cutout tests on both those trucks and never found a bad injector. One of them, I just said, fuck it, and changed all the injectors. Problem never went away. Just anyway, lots of callers still. I know I keep saying that, but every time I look, I'm like, holy shit, there's a lot of callers still. Garcia, Jose, maybe. Hello, you're on the air.
Yes, sir. Shaky Pete.
Yes, sir. What can we do for
Shaky
you?
Pete, the drunk guy. Hey, look. No, I had a bone to pick with you, but you got a lot of callers. But look, two things. You told me, I heard you talking to the other gentleman that he had his truck parked for a while. Because I asked you this question and you told me you answered it before, and you told me to open the whatchamacallit on the top
The
and
valve
check
cover.
if I have the valve cover. Thank you. Check if I had rust, but you never mentioned the crank.
And if you were listening to what I said to him, I said open the valve cover, and I said if you don't have any signs of rust anywhere, you're probably good to go. In other words, you probably don't need to worry about checking the rest of it. Sounds like exactly what I said to you.
Okay. Right. So you have remember Fitzgerald? They used to do the glider kits.
Yeah, I saw their video where they had piles and piles of engines.
Right. I was trying to call you. I tried to call you Monday, but
probably 200 people sent
couldn't
me
get through.
a link
So, yeah.
to that. But
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, it's
No,
cool.
that's cool. I mean,
I'm not really interested in trying to do anything with Fitzgerald. I have to deal with them.
you're just buying them. You're not doing anything with
I
them.
know, but I have to.
Oh,
I have to deal with
okay. I
Fitzgerald.
got you. I got you. I got you.
Fitzgerald engines come into our shop all the time, and Fitzgerald, you know, they have their own engine serial numbers, and you have to call them to get the build sheet and this and that. And so I have to deal with them quite often, and it is a horrible experience. And I just, no thanks. I don't want to deal with them.
No, but you're not buying. I mean, you're just buying them.
No,
You're
I
not
know. I mean,
going to fix them or anything.
I know, but there's engines everywhere for sale. It's not, you know, and it's nice to deal
I
with.
got you.
And I get to run around and meet all kinds of people, and you know, we're buying 3 or 4 engines from this guy and that guy, and I don't know. I just, in my mind, I can't imagine an experience with Fitzgerald being a pleasant one. But I don't know. I didn't call them.
I got you, man. So yeah, I'll call back when you got more time. One of them boring days.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate your call.
All right.
Yep.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man.
Yep. Have a good night.
Take care. You too.
That guy thought he had me on that one. That's funny. Oh, well. Back to the callers we go. Incredible I Wish Shop. I know this thing asks you for your name. Nobody wants to give their name. You're on the air, brother. What can we do for you? Hello.
Hey, this is Ben. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. What can we do for you?
Okay, cool. I got a 2016 Western Star that I bought used. It's got a DD15 in it. It has a 400 setting on it, and I'd like to turn it up to a 505. The armchair quarterbacks tell me that you just put a 9-blade fan on it and get it reflashed. But when I've talked to a couple of dealerships, they give me all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, that you got to change the turbo, the injector, the one box, the partridge in a pear tree. It's just nuts what they've said. One service writer said, we can turn it up to a 505. He'll be back in 3 days with a blown motor. I live out west, and when I bought the truck, I was pulling a dry van, and I've since moved to an RGN, and so I could use a little bit more power. 90,000 pounds on some of these mountains out here with a 400 sucks. As an engine builder, what's different between a 400 and a 505? How much has changed on the engine?
Man, I wish you were asking me about any other engine because I could rattle them off. But what I will say is that, you know, when you're doing that big of a horsepower jump, there usually is hard parts that are different. So it doesn't surprise me to hear that people that sound like they know more, you know, are telling you that there's things you have to do. Now, I don't know that specifically. I mean, like, we could find out for you for sure. And the way to do that is to do a side-by-side CPL comparison. You know, if you wanted like a purely objective, disinterested opinion on that, where you could get some real answers, you should call our call line tomorrow and call into the parts guys and, you know, tell them what you have and ask them, you know, what the difference is, and they should be able to figure that out for you.
Alrighty. Anybody specific I should talk to?
Yeah, I mean, probably. They're all good. All the guys that work there are good, but for something like that, probably ask for my son Jacob, and he can call in and do a side-by-side comparison and say, okay, you know, different turbo and this and that. And he can, you know, and he can get you a quote on that stuff as well. You know, say you need a different turbo, he'd be able to figure that out right there. We heavily support the DD15 platform. We have everything for it. And it might be nothing, right? It might be nothing at all.
Yeah, because I've heard that you just got to reflash it, but then other people tell me, you got to change the injector, you got to change.
Yeah, but
oh, Marianne,
he'll be able to figure. He'll be able to figure
as well overhaul it and start over.
No, he'll be able to figure that out really easily. All you got to do is take a CPL of what you're trying to get to, and the CPL of what you have, and you put them side by side, and see. Okay, the injectors are the same. Okay, the cams are the same. Okay, the turbo's the same. Okay, they came with the same piston crown. Rebuild kit's the same. It's all the same. Flash the fucking thing, right? Or
Get it?
Conversely, it's the exact opposite. Oh man, this thing has totally different turbo. Oh Jesus, it has totally different injectors. At least you know what you're getting into. And maybe it's $2,500 to get everything you need, right? Who knows?
Right.
So that's how you find out. We're constantly doing that for Cummins engines and especially the Cummins engines. Like that's probably a third of our day is spent comparing CPLs for customers, trying to figure out what they can and can't do. So it's part of it, man.
Well, I'd be happy to pay you to get a straight answer.
No, you don't have to pay for the straight answer.
Can I answer?
You just give us a call.
Well, it's your time too.
Yeah, but
yeah.
it's
can I ask a second question?
Yeah, go ahead.
The other day on one of your videos, you were saying that if you were to buy a new truck, you would buy one with a Cummins in it because the Detroit was so expensive to overhaul, and that set me back. I thought the Detroit was the cheapest to overhaul. Maybe I'm thinking of the Series 60 or something.
Yes, you're thinking of the old one.
You had said that. Okay, I didn't realize that the newer ones had jumped so high. What is a side-by-side comparison for a Cummins to a DD15 overhaul cost?
So the average overhaul cost for a Cummins that if I'm just like looking out across the country and seeing the numbers that I see come through here, because you got to think, man, so many people share me numbers that they have, right?
Right.
It's somewhere between 27 and 34,000. It's somewhere the average cost of overhaul an ISX, depending on how extensive it got.
Okay.
DD15s, 40,000 all day long and up. We like if you wanted us to do something for you, we don't even offer overhaul and provide you with a long block plus with all the gears, cam, injectors, everything for vastly more affordable than overhauling your engine, even if we did it in-house. It's crazy. And that's what we offer. We're like, hey, do you have anything for DD15 engine-wise? They're like, yeah, we'll give you a drop-in engine. It's like, in the low 20s for a complete drop-in. That's the only way to go with one of those, right? But
is that like a takeout?
Yeah. You take your engine out and take the stuff off the outside, put it on that engine, throw it in there. It's not bad at all. But let's take that option out of it, right? That's an option that we sought out and have available. But for 90%, 99% of people out there, that's not an option, right? It's something we're trying to give as an option to everybody, and we've been selling them like crazy. But take that option out of it. You're looking at overhauling the engine you have. It's vastly more money to do. Even if you did it yourself, let's say you were going to do an ISX yourself, or you're going to do this DD15 yourself, you're going to be a lot more money into that DD15 than you would in the ISX. And you're going to spend a lot more time overhauling it as well. And you're going to be into it about $16,000 just in tooling to get that DD15 done. And you can buy the tooling to do your ISX off of fucking Amazon.
Well, I appreciate that, because when you said that the other day, I was like, huh? I didn't know that. But I'm not as in tune to the mechanics side of it, but I probably should be.
Yeah, I mean,
and doing it.
It's also a huge difference there.
I get that. All right. Well, thank you.
All right, brother. Good luck out there.
I'll let you get on to the next one.
Yep.
Thank
have
you.
a good night.
Okay. Bye.
We are starting to whittle these callers down. We got 5 left. We're starting to There's light at the end of the tunnel. See if we can get them all done before the hour's over here. Who's this Tyrone guy you're all talking about in the comment section? Fucking Tyrone, huh? All right, back to the callers. Daniel Underwood, you're on the air, brother. What can we do for you?
All right, Aaron. I talked to you last week about the Peterbilt I had. It's a 3406E that wasn't cranking. You told me to put a gear reduction starter on it. I did that, and it won't crank at all. It did a little bit better, but it still won't never fire. So the mechanic that had it, he pulled it off, and when he did that, of course, he had to pull on it pretty hard and put it in a higher gear. It did crank up, and it ran and held good oil pressure. But he's still saying that it's, you're just going to need an end frame on it.
So you pull started it, and it fired up and ran good. And did you guys try starting it right away? After?
Yeah. So of course, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But he says once you cut it off, it won't crank back.
Okay, so
The only way
how
was to pull start.
And
so he's pretty much go ahead.
Yeah. When you turn it, when you turn it over, does it turn all the way over? Does it revolve all the way around and around?
That I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't there. He just called and told me that the only way he could get it to crank was to pull it off. And he said if it's sitting there cold or whatever, it hasn't been that cold here. He said it's just like it was before. It's just like it's got dead batteries. It's not spinning over fast enough, even with the new starter we put on there.
Okay, I mean, so you're down to two things that can be here. Okay, it's hydrolocking, like the comment section is saying. The only problem I have with it being hydrolocked is pulling it typically won't start them either if they're truly hydrolocked, right? If it's hydrolocking fast enough that let's just think about it real quick. Your guy claims he pull started it, runs fine, good oil pressure, turns it off, immediately tries to start it again, and it's hydrolocked again. Let's just say it's hydrolocked. That is putting a lot of fucking coolant into that thing quickly to turn it off and immediately try and start it. And it's immediately hydrolocked.
Right.
There ain't no fucking way.
Right.
There ain't no way. There ain't no way that you're pull starting something that's hydrolocking that fast. It's just we would have to be dumping coolant in there.
Right.
And when you guys started up, it would have been the whitest cloud of smoke coming out of that thing. He would have been like, "Yep, this thing's hydrolocked." Right? It was hydrolocked.
Right.
So I just feel like that's not it. We're probably dealing with something way more dumb, like battery cables, ground cable to the truck or something like that. How do we figure overhauling it is going to cure this problem? I mean, what's the reasoning there?
Hey, that I don't have a clue. He said, only thing he's told me is it has no compression. That's all he's told me. He said, man, it just don't have any. He don't have compression.
How does that match up with it won't turn over? It's like the exact opposite.
It'll turn over. Well, it'll turn over, but it just won't never fire and crank up. It's like the batteries are just weak on it.
Mm-hmm. Which is a sign of it having too much compression, not of it having no compression, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
no. I just.
I don't know. It sounds like because they've already decided that's what needs to happen. I would
Right.
I would pull start it again. I would go, if it was me, I would go there and say, hey, let's pull start this piece of shit and let's get it pull started. You get it running and then say, okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and take it with me while she's running.
Right.
And then monitor your coolant. If you're not, so there's your sign, get it running, leave it running, and see if you're losing all your coolant. If you're not losing all your coolant, that's not the problem. If your coolant is disappearing on you while it's sitting there running, then yeah, he's right. It's hydrolocking and needs to be overhauled. But I mean, if you guys can start it by pull starting it,
Right.
go get it pull started and let it run. See what's going on. Pop the cap off. See if we got pressure. Find out what the hell's going on. We're not doing a good job of diagnosing this thing. Not at all.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. I mean, that's why I'm on the phone with you. I mean,
right, but I
don't want to do something.
Right, but it sounds like you're going to end up getting fucking hosed down before this is all said and done.
Right. Right. Well, you know, his labor on the overhaul, he said his labor is going to be $4,000, and then for oil coolant and all filters, $625. For the overhaul kit, which is not a platinum or gold or anything like that, it's just an aftermarket overhaul kit, is $11,748.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said if it needed counterboard stems, it's $5,500.
Oh wow! So that is a tactic of many shops. It's actually a tactic of most shops where they will have this really low labor price because the end user, the owner operator, the consumer. Now listen up. This is a tactic that is used all around the United States. They know that the customer only bitches about the price of the labor because it's the only variable.
Right.
And so they will make all their money on the parts. Those shims,
right.
You know, you could order those shims from me. It's like
$200. And he was telling me.
But hang on, those shims are about, you know, they're a couple $100 for all of them, not for one. A couple $100 for all of them, and the in-frame kit's about $3,200. So $3,500 for everything, and he's telling you $17,000 for those same parts, but he's only $4,000 to do the labor, right?
Yeah, and he was telling me that he'd rather me buy the parts from where we're buying them from, and then I would just owe him the labor.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's got some kind of scam going on.
So he won't. And he's a decent friend of ours. I mean, he's not, you know, a fishing buddy or anything. I mean,
like it.
We've known him for years, but it's like, you know, where you at with it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. If I just take it to another mechanic and get a second opinion on it, and I don't know.
If it was me, I'd be getting that opinion myself. I'd get it started and leave it running, drive it around, fuck with it, look at your coolant level, see if you're losing coolant. If you're not losing coolant, then you need to start figuring out what's going on with the wiring problem.
Okay. So if it is losing coolant, then you're probably looking at an end frame.
It might,
if you're not losing coolant,
it could also be a prime. It could also be losing prime.
Yeah. How would you figure that out?
Pull the fuel line off, pull the return line off, and see if it's, you know, after you've tried starting it, if it's blowing fuel everywhere, if it's blowing air everywhere, it's going to be under pressure. If it's not under pressure at all, you really got a problem.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll try those few things and then see. I mean, the only thing I know to do is do that. I want to get a complete. She'll have the same fucking now.
Well, I do want to say that if you're willing to pay $11,000 for a kit, I will sell you one for a measly $9,000. You just hit me up.
Yeah. And you can ship it to Tennessee.
I'll ship it to fucking China if you give me that.
Do what?
I said, I'll ship it to China if you give me that much for one.
I'm as the only reason I know anything about engines really is watching your shit. So I mean, I trust your judgment on a lot of things.
The parts for that
but-
engine are about 3,000. Just so, I mean, they are.
Yeah.
For the price he's
let,
quoting,
let me just say this.
go ahead.
Well, all right. So let's just say it needed an end frame on it.
Mm-hmm.
Could I call you and tell you what I need and get all my shit shipped from you to you from your place?
Of course. We can even help you figure out what you need just based on what your problem is. We don't just, I mean, that's why so many people keep coming back to us, is because we help them diagnose their problem. A lot of guys don't know what their problem is, right? Everybody always asks us, when are you going to have a website? And we kind of came to the consensus that a website's pretty much worthless because you're not helping anybody, right? People call and and they can call our center and we're like, okay, what's going on with the engine? You know, and next thing you know, they've been told they need to buy this, and this. And we're like, that's not even what's going on with it. You need this. You know what I mean? That's the kind of help people need.
Right. Absolutely. Well, is your number on your site, like to your shop? Is this the number, or is it you have a different number?
No, this is only for this show. Yeah, if you look at our Facebook, and TikTok and any of that, it's like always going to be the pinned post. You know.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go get the truck and do what you told me to do with the coolant. See if I'm losing coolant. And if I'm losing coolant, then that means I'm probably going to need an end frame. If I'm not, then the problem's probably going to be somewhere else.
Yep.
I'll do that, and then I may actually I may actually call you and have the mechanic sitting there. I mean, he's open book too. You know, I mean, he's not a peckerhead or anything like that.
Well, that's good. But get it started. Before you do it, before you waste anybody's time. And I mean that in a positive way.
I got you.
Get it running again and diagnose it running.
Okay.
All right, brother. Good luck.
All right. Cool. Appreciate you, bro.
Yep. Bye. Okay. 4 more callers. 15 more minutes. I'm not taking any more callers. Don't call in. Anyway, Madden Trucking. You are on the air. What can we do for you?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, NXS. Got a question for you. I have got some blow-by. I'm kind of concerned about it. I don't know if I'm right, wrong. When I back the truck in on a polished concrete floor, I'm leaving some blow-by. It got rebuilt at 104,000 or 1.04. So I've got approximately 300 and some thousand miles on it since the overhaul. And I don't know, I got an oil residue on a polished concrete floor that's about the diameter of a Coke can or whatnot in a 12-hour period. I'm just curious, is that...
So I'm going to ask you some questions here. Is it coming from the blow-by tube?
Yep.
For sure. Are you have any other oil other than that?
Yes. No.
No. Okay. So it's
just from that.
And what temperatures are you? So hang on, brother. I want to help you decide whether you have a problem or not. What kind of atmosphere are you sitting in when you're sitting there for overnight, idling away on this polished concrete? Are you sitting? Are you exposed to the weather?
Oh, no, on polished concrete.
I got that part.
You outside, 74 degrees.
And truck's not running.
Beautiful job. Nope.
Okay, so but it was running. So what state are you in?
I'm in Northwest Iowa.
Northwest Iowa. Okay, so not too cold.
Yep.
No. So how much? So here's a more legitimate.
We're running right now at exactly right now. It's 13.4 degrees here.
Okay, so
but 90% of the time,
so
when I'm out on the road,
here's the question. Here's the relevant question. Okay.
Okay.
You know, you go 10,000 miles on an oil change or somewhere around there, I'm assuming. How much oil do you have to put? How much
10
oil?
to 15.
Okay. How much oil do you have to put in this thing to keep it full before you change it?
I'd say a gallon and a half.
In 15,000 miles or in 10,000 miles?
All depending. It's right in that ballpark. Sometimes.
And so let me ask you a couple more questions. Okay. How often do you travel to where you have to let it idle while you're in the sleeper before you make it back to your polished floor?
I would say probably 80.
I'm gonna guess, and this is just a guess, that's happening from the engine not being warm enough. That's going to be my pocket guess.
Okay.
Rather than say your motor's blown up.
Okay. I'm just wondering on it because if there's something I can do differently.
What I would do is try to keep it warmer and see if that helps solve this problem, especially when you're idling. You know, run that thing up. If you're idling, you know, and if you're sitting in whatever place you're staying at overnight, you know, along your leg of your trip, and it's cold, windy, any of those factors, winter front, man, piece of cardboard if you don't have one, idle that thing up, 1,500 if you have to, whatever it takes, and see if all of a sudden this oil consumption thing comes way down.
High. Okay.
Fuck yes. It's okay. So let me explain something.
Okay.
Here. People call me all the time. This is a good opportunity for me to get this out there. People call me all the time. What should I idle my truck up to? You know, in this temperature, that temperature. That's actually irrelevant. The only thing is relevant is what is the temperature of the truck. And if you have dropped below 180 degrees, you have problems. It is problematic for the engine to be under that temperature. So it's whatever it takes. I mean, when I was up in Alaska, we would run belly tarps, winter fronts, the whole 9 yards. I would always park out of the wind. I'd park behind, drive, whatever I had to park behind to make sure I was always out of the wind. And if I needed to, I had that thing idled up to 1,600 all freaking night long. Whatever it takes to keep that temperature. It's irrelevant. The RPM is really irrelevant. It's what temperature is the engine is going to dictate. You know, and if the fan started coming on all the time and wake me up, I'd go idle it down a little bit. You know, the fan's going to let you know if
I greatly appreciate that. Because I try to go on the temp.
Well, so
great.
You know, who knows if it's staying there, especially when you're I almost said when you're drinking.
Yeah.
When you're sleeping.
Yes, yeah. I am drinking.
Yeah, you've had a few, but Anyway, brother, try that out first and let us know. Let us know if you saw an improvement. If not, then we'll
Try to keep her a little hotter.
I would try. So anyway, brother, good luck with it. Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right. Sounds good.
all right. Have a good night. We almost get a drunk guy every show, which is fine. Makes it fun. It's funny that I actually said drinking. That was funny. Make myself laugh. Okay, people that are still calling in, guys, we got to wind this show out. So I got to drop you. Sorry about that. The 3 people that are still on, we're going to get to you. No names. So Nina Wild is what it says in the, but we'll see. You're on the air. What can we do for you?
How's it going? Name's Jesse. So I'm not leaving that.
Okay.
Question is on, I got a 5EK set at 650. It's got a Borg turbo. All internals are stock. My issue is on my fan. I cannot get it to activate when the truck starts to get warm. I have to manually reach up, turn my switch on. Anytime I start to pull a serious grade, even when I'm sitting in a field running my walking floor or belt trailer, I got to make sure I keep an eye on my temp. And if it gets high, I got to kick the fan on.
And what do you consider high?
To the point it kicks the check engine light on to tell me because the temperature has reached a point that it's getting ready to overheat.
Yeah, that's hot enough. The only reason I'm asking is because so many people are scared to let it get to the 218 it has to get for the fan to come on, and so it never gets above 200 hardly.
Yeah,
they're turning the fan. I just want to make sure that wasn't the problem. So probably what it is, brother, it's the electric over air.
Yeah,
switch. It's your electric over air switch on the firewall. Like there's a 90%.
Okay,
90%.
so I've gone up there. What exactly do I need to know to do to diagnose other than just swapping it out for a brand new one? Because I've had mechanics look at it and say that, no, that's not wrong. You got a broken wire somewhere, or it's in your ECM, or because I've had the ECM
if you had
looked
a
at.
broken wire to it, brother, then your fan wouldn't come on when you turn the switch on.
That's what I thought as well.
So there is a way to test it. You have to have a power probe, and you have to know what you're doing. You probably have a normally closed. Shit. Every time I need to remember something, I can never remember. It's either a normally open or a normally closed. You can only have one of each kind, and usually your older ones are different than all the newer ones. I think it's a normally closed, but I'm not sure. So the biggest thing is you have to make sure that you get the right one when you go to order one, but they're not expensive, man. And they're really easy to change. I would start with just changing that stupid thing, get rid of it, but make damn sure you're putting the right one on so you don't accidentally put a normally open when it's supposed to be a normally closed. You know, and your guys at Peterbilt or Kenworth, they're pretty bad about giving you the wrong one, especially when you're dealing with an older engine. You know, you're going to want to give them the year, make, model of the truck, and just make sure that you're putting the right one.
VIN number, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I got one more question for you, if you don't mind. Just picked up W9, has another C15 in it, and it's got twins on the side of it with the 5th injector. I've had people give me different sorry about that, different advice on it. Whether if it's running fine, leave it alone.
Wait. What do you mean 5th injector?
On the back side of the turbo, like right before the exhaust.
So
it comes out. The exhaust comes out of the back of the.
It's an SDP with a spark plug.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So what's the question about it?
Should it just be left alone, or should I, in the near future, get that deleted to a single?
Oh,
or
no,
keep the
don't
setup?
delete it to a single. It's so expensive. So expensive to do correctly.
Okay.
I mean, you'll have guys in.
Yep.
Let me put this out there. Don't let somebody talk you into doing that uh, for you. Unless they're really good, because I cannot tell you how many SDPs we get in here that are fucked. And it's because they singled them out and this and that. And there's a right way and a wrong way to do those. Don't mess with it. I mean, you're better off leaving it the way it is. If you're not having any problems, don't mess with it. Don't fix it if it isn't broken. Right? The SDP.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The SDP was a problematic engine in general, but you know, we've had lots of them in here and they're getting pretty old that are still original. And you know, guys are still running them. So is this one deleted already or no? Like the VBAs are still working, all that kind of stuff?
No, it is not. Yep. Yeah, it's got 500,000 on it. We noticed a little bit of oil seeping out of the second turbo. So that's where the people are telling us, you know, do this, do that. So I guess what it boils down to is what I want to know is if it comes to a situation where the system needs to be fixed, do I fix it and keep it twinned, or at that point, do I convert to single?
The problem with converting that one to single is there is no good tune for that out there. And so you're going to get something like you already have, some shit ass tune, and it's always going to be this big problem for you.
Okay, so just if you have issue with it, fix it, keep it running the way it is.
I would. And if you're getting oil out the turbo, what state are you in?
Illinois,
Okay.
Chicago area.
Okay, so it's not oil coming out of your turbo, most likely. Can be, but it is very unlikely. It is much more likely that that is unburnt diesel fuel.
Okay. Okay.
And it probably,
literally, we just got the truck a week ago. We're in the process of getting a double-lined wet kit. It hasn't even left our shop yet, so it's like from us getting it to the shop, starting and moving around, doing what we need to do to it, that we've noticed that.
yeah, because
So
it's not
probably
getting,
from sitting around idling.
Yep, it's not getting hot. Yep, it's not a problem. That problem's going to go away all
10-4.
on its own as soon as you start working it.
Appreciate that.
All right,
Thank you.
brother. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye. Why do you guys keep calling? Jeez, the callers just keep coming in. Guys, we got 2 more calls to take here, and we're calling it a night. I do appreciate all the calls, but you'll have to call next week. I gotta go home. I gotta go home. Mike Walls, you're on there. Thanks for being so patient. What can we do for you?
Hey, brother, I picked up an FLD 99 with a Gen 3, and it's got a 13 turnaround in it, and it's got a 625 horsepower tune. And I'm a little worried about jumping in that thing and just running it because I've never been in a truck like that. What should I watch for on the primer?
Is this thing an ACERT? Factory ACERT?
No, it's a Detroit. It's a 60 series.
Oh, 60 series Detroit. Okay. 14,
Yeah.
14 liter, 12.7.
No, it's a 12.7.
And it has a 625 horsepower Detroit tune in it. Well,
That's what the gentleman that I bought it from told me.
I believe him. See you soon.
I'm sorry?
I said see you soon.
See you soon what?
That I own a shop. I'm saying see you soon. Being
You're talking about something else from telling me.
Yeah, I'm trying to be real nice and funny about it, but yep.
I haven't got a computer on it yet. I don't know exactly what I'm working with.
Yeah. I mean,
But
if you have a tuner that's worth 2 cents, and most of them are, it's not going to tell you. It's going to say $4.75 or something like that.
yeah, that's what the label on the side of the motor says. So I've got a bunch of questions about this thing. Not too many, but he was running a gallon of Lucas in it every time he did an oil change. And I'm not a buyer on the product. Should I continue to run the Lucas? Because that motor has about 868 on it right now.
You guys have.
Should I go ahead and continue to run the Lucas in it or not?
You guys have almost 900,000 miles on a motor, and they turned it up to 6 1/4. Brother, man,
That's what he's telling me. I mean,
it didn't spend its life there. I could tell you that. Well, here,
okay.
if you want a quick word of advice, here's what I would say. Find somebody to put the factory horsepower tune back on it before you don't have a truck to drive around. The fact that he's stacking the stacking of the Lucas oil is probably because it's already pretty well fucked.
I got you.
And so here's the thing you need to understand about Lucas oil. I don't have a problem with Lucas oil, and at the same time, I have a big problem with Lucas oil. The problem I have with Lucas oil is everybody uses it to mask a problem, and it doesn't fix the problem, but it does a good job of masking it. Okay, I have really bad oil consumption. I'm going to use Lucas oil. Well, it slows the oil consumption down dramatically, but it doesn't do anything for the combustion gas going into the crankcase that caused the oil consumption in the first place, right? You're still degrading the oil. You're still destroying the oil. On the other hand, Lucas does provide some value in the way that it provides value is in the synthetic polymer that's in it. That's oil sticks to all the wheels. We turn in the little wheels because it has synthetic polymer. What's the miracle synthetic polymer is that it doesn't cut. It will bend. In other words, the gear train, that's why Lucas makes the claim you can put it in your differentials, you can put it in your transmission, you can put it in your engine, and it won't degrade the product because natural polymers will break in a gear, and the synthetic polymer that he invented will bend around the gears and doesn't break, so it retains the properties that makes it good at what it does, but it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't fix anything. Can it extend some life of some items? Yes, it can. It does a really good job of getting oiled everywhere it needs to be, but it doesn't do anything for the degradation of oil, and everybody uses it in the wrong application. In that application is I'm going to cover up the problem, and they end up with a rod slung out the side of their engine, despite the fact they had 4 gallons of Lucas in it.
Well, he's been adding a gallon of Lucas for 20. Well, he's owned the truck. He owned the truck for 20 years before I got it, and he's owned that motor has been in there for at least 3 years that I know of, or better. It's got to be better with that many miles on it. But he's always put a gallon of Lucas in it, and I can't wrap my head around it, to be honest with you. But that being said, it doesn't have any it's got a steady stream coming out of the blow-by. It doesn't have any puffing. You get it up to operating temp, and it doesn't have any splatter or puffing coming out of the oil cap. What do you think?
I think it's blown up already.
Good God, that's not the answer I wanted, Aaron. But I appreciate your honesty on that.
Constant
I've got
like that is a really bad sign, man. It's a really bad sign.
A steam coming out of the blow-by?
In a constant roll, it's a really bad sign.
Yeah, it's a constant roll.
She's fucked. It's still,
well, it's my truck now.
Still gonna run, still gonna do the job, but it's on the it's on the road out.
All right. So basically, downing my 14 with I got a 14 Cascadia that just lost the transmission, and I downed it, and I was hoping to put this thing on the road. It's probably not a good idea.
Cut her back down to the 475 she's supposed to be and go make a bunch of money with it. And if you're consuming a lot of oil, change it frequently until you can get on your feet enough to take care of the problem.
Yeah, cool, brother. Well, hey, man, I can't do anything but ask for some good appreciation and advice, because you are nailing it, bro, and I enjoy your show. You have yourself a great night, all right, buddy?
Yes, sir. Thank you. You too. All right, one more caller. Sorry for anybody else that's called, but we're already past the hour, and family calls, man. I gotta get home. So last caller, and then we'll scan the comments, chit chat, and then I'm out of here. You're on the air, brother. Thank you for waiting so long. What can we do for you?
Well, I got some bull haulers wanting to come in the shop over here and get some in frames and out of frames on some old twin cam IFXs. And I look at a whole lot of your guys' aftermarket kits you sell. What would be basically the max horsepower if we went full tilt with one of your kits that it should technically hold together? And I know there's a lot of variables with tuning and driver application on how they're going to take care of it, but I don't want to build somebody's motor and shoot myself in the foot.
I mean, if you use our rule of thumb, my credo is I don't build anything that depends on the driver to keep it together. And I think, from what it sounds like you're a shop owner. So from one shop owner to another, I think that's a really good business model. Because you never make it. There's a guy right down the road from us who love him to death. Great guy. We support his shop. But all the guys around here that want that 900 horsepower crap, they all go to him. Right. And he's always constantly building stuff that's just ridiculous. And he deals with so much grief over it because the stuff doesn't stay together. Obviously not some of it does, or people wouldn't go there, but a lot of it comes apart because it's just so ridiculous. And I'm always talking to him about that. I'm like, dude, why live like that? Right. You get negative connotation.
Yeah.
Even if the driver's like, I don't care, I'm going to take full responsibility, you still end up with the negative connotations from it. So why play the game? Because they give you a bunch of money. Who cares? So
yeah, that's where I'm at. I work hand in hand with a really good tuner. I mean, we do all kinds of stuff on tractors and things like that. But for some reason, we've just had some older twin cams show up, and I got these guys saying they want to knock down 675 or 700 horse, and it's like, I'm kind of scared to go over like 600.
Well, so here's instead of telling you what you should do, I'll just tell you what I would do. Okay, that's the only thing that makes sense in this scenario. Let's say you're my customer and you're bull hauling whatever, and you're like, hey, I got this dual cam Cummins. What can we do? What's the most horsepower we can put out of it? And I already have the pocket answer for that, right around 650 horsepower. That's what it's going to dyno out on when I'm done with it. But the way I'm going to do that is, first of all, I'm going to check the CPL against the factory 605 CPL, a 600 high torque. Make sure that we're compatible.
Yeah.
If we're not, then I'm going to get the parts that make it compatible with that. And I'm going to build it as the biggest CPL that I possibly can. Factory. Then from there, I'm going to lot performance parts. I'm going to have thermal ratings on 100, 620, 625, somewhere in there if we were to go dyno it, right? And from there, we might retard the timing just a little bit and add a little bit of fuel. And I'm talking really small numbers here, right? I'm not talking like we're blowing black smoke. I'm talking a little bit. We're going to just push ourselves right up there to that 640, 650, somewhere right in there. We just completed 4 engines in the last 2 weeks. ISX Cummins, both dual cam and single cam, and we're advertising all of them to the consumer as 650 horsepower. But I don't expect any of those people that have those engines to drive it a certain way. There was no conversation with them about, well, you got to drive it like this or you got to drive it like that, you know, and every one of them pretty much asked me, how am I supposed to drive this? And I'm like I don't know, push the fucking pedal. You know, what are you talking about? There's no stipulation. There's no stigma on them for the certain way they have to drive it for me to stand behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, because I guess what's got me more scared than anything outside of just, you know, bull haulers are kind of hard on stuff, is talking to, like I said, I got 2 guys that do my tuning mainly, and I really like working with them, but both of them are real gun shy when you start talking to them about trying to hop up a twin cam. They're like, Nate, this is a terrible idea. Don't do this. It's like, well, this guy at Hack Nation over here is selling a pretty nice kit that's, you know, coded everything. It'd be cool if I could get a customer, and, you know, obviously I'm not going to go give them their 700 horsepower they want, but if I could do 640 or 650 and stand behind it, I would love to be able to do that. I just don't want to damage my name in the process of trying to do it.
Yeah, and so much of that comes down to the guy tuning it, unfortunately, you know. And we're really fortunate in that department because the people we work with are, you know, they already know. We don't have to have any kind of conversation with them. They already know that we warranty everything, right? And that we stand behind all of our stuff. So whenever they're building us any kind of blueprinting, that's always in the back of their mind, that we got to make sure we're not the cause of failure.
Yeah.
So anyhow, let me turn this little.
Well, I guess I'll keep doing my homework and try to find a better tuner on it. And
I'm not
if I get to that point, I'll probably order it from you.
I'm not saying you need a better tuner. I'm saying so. Two things I want to address real quick. You're the last caller. I don't need to be in a hurry. So the 2 things I want to address. Number one, you said bull haulers are hard on stuff. Now, I don't agree with that sentiment, because I come from Alaska, and there ain't a fucking bull hauler in the United States that is working his truck harder than the average company driver on the Alaska Haul Road. That's a fact. I don't even have to like find out if what I'm saying is true. I know that's true, right? So
no, I can definitely understand that one.
So it's not the bull hauler that's hard on the truck. It's the bull hauler's bullheadedness for putting stupid fucking tunes in them that's ruining the trucks. It's not my job is ruining this truck. It's just not true. There's guys out there hauling bridge beams. There's guys out there hauling blades. There's guys out there hauling all kinds of stuff that puts these bull haulers to shame, right? The bull haulers are famous because they put 15 toothpicks in and they drive 500 miles an hour and they blow through trucks, the way stations, right? They're not famous for working their trucks hard.
Right.
So I think that sentiment is only earned by them because they do stupid shit to their trucks. It's not because they're hard on their trucks. They do stupid shit to their trucks. It's not the same thing, right? It's not the same thing.
I mean, I can agree with that, with the 700 horsepower and 750 horsepower phone calls.
Right. So you can build a bull. I mean, there is a lot of bull haulers that come to us to build them engines, and especially we're in North Dakota. Holy cow. I would say at least a third of our business is people that haul livestock. And it's because, and they're all level-headed livestock haulers that really want to keep up with all their buddies, but they also want to make money and have an engine that stays together. You know, a large portion of our clientele is livestock haulers. because they're not all fucking mentally retarded, right? They're not all stupid. But we all know there's a big group of them out there that that blow their trucks up left and right. Yeah, there's more cows in North Dakota than people. There's no joke. But anyhow, as a builder, man, that's the thing to do. You just start out with what CPL do they have? What can you take it to? And then what can we do to increase this without increasing our liability? And you just tell them, here's what we can go to. And I'll stand behind the engine, and you'll usually find out most guys will eventually agree with it. They'll be like, okay, it'd be really nice to have some warranty on this thing. Otherwise, you got to be like the guy down the road from me and just build them whatever they want and just say, hey, there's no warranty.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you taking my call and answering some of them questions. And hopefully I'll be ordering some kits from you soon, and I'll let you get back to
All right, man. Well, if you need us, give us a call. Good luck.
All righty.
Have a good
Thanks,
one.
sir.
Yep. Bye. It's not compulsory. I got to watch what I say. I mean, I get flagged every live by TikTok. One of these days, they're going to cut me off and not let me do live. So dumb. You can't say nothing. I mean, TikTok is the new Facebook. Facebook used to restrict all the speech and all that. And now Facebook is the exact opposite. You can say whatever you want. And TikTok is now the free speech hater. They only say nothing. Yeah, owning any truck makes you a little mental. Oh, I agree with that one. Oh, it's funny. Yeah, I had an old timer in my office, not today, but yesterday, and he was sitting there. He's owned trucks. He owns quite a few. He's owned a lot more in the past, and he was sitting there, and I can't even remember what his truck's in here for. And he's like, I've been thinking I'd probably make way more money if I just got rid of all these trucks. I was like, I figured that out a long time ago, brother. I figured that out a long time ago. I mean, driving trucks was a lot of money in this hand, but a lot of money coming out of this one. What's my thoughts on PDI tuners? Let me put it to you this way. I talked to their guy that does the tuners over there at PDI, and he talked a big game, and he kind of had me talked into him, and I ordered 15 of them, got them all here, hooked one up to a truck, went through it all, and I said, no fucking way. And we never sold one of them, and we gave them back. Actually, we had them here for a year, and my wife just sent them back to him about a month ago. We never put not one single one on a truck. It's a big no for me on the PDI tuners. The problem with the PDI tuner is they'll work for a little bit, and you'll be fine. And it's kind of like, but it's going to ruin your truck. The PDI tuner is going to ruin your engine. There, I've said it. In my opinion, going to ruin your shit. It'll be fun for a little bit, but the PDI tuner is a lot calmer than what they used to do when they got their pee-pee slapped by the EPA. Bully dog tuners, same crap, man. Bully dog tuners are absolute shit. Don't be doing that to your truck. Bully dog's probably the worst. But, man, guys, there's a right way to get some power. It's not that way. That's not the way. This is the way. That's not the way. Anyway, guys. All right, it's already starting to get pretty late. How's it going to ruin it? I'm going through an issue, and I think the tuner is the problem. Well, he is too hot. Is dumping fuel. It's just fuel numbers. You can't take your fuel numbers up and add 150 horsepower strictly off of fuel numbers and not have a problem. You're crazy if you think you can. But again, they don't care. That's the thing you need to understand. They don't care. They do not care if they ruin your engine. They care if they sell 7,000 of those a year. That's what they care about. Call them and find out. Tell them their tuner fucked your truck up. See what they say. They'll say, would you like to buy another one? Anyway, guys, I probably better wrap it up. Been fun. Been a good show. Lots of callers. Appreciate all the callers. Sorry to everybody that had to hang up on. I think there was 10 people I had to hang up on. Sorry about that. And here I am procrastinating, not going home. So I probably better do that. Thank you, TikTokers, Facebookers, YouTubers. Love you a long time. We will see you next week. If I didn't answer your questions, hit us up next week. We're here every week. I don't know if we'll be in the new shop. What is it, the 21st? My wife is ordered internet to come over there. We're going to have fiber over there. It's going to be so much better. I'm going to go huff more brake cleaner. Don't huff brake cleaner. That stuff is bad. Anyway, all right. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next week. Love you a long time.